Well, the lady that was representing her, she claimed the lady didn't give her all the money. I said, you told us that's who represented. We got a contract. Now, she was representing you. I don't know where the money went to. So we end up, I told her, I said, we're going to get our money now. And she came to Dallas for a church. And we had her arrested.
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
it ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Man, we are having a very, very, very important conversation right now with one of Dallas's, I want to say, curators of this city, who has his hands in everything. But for this conversation, where we're going to start is we are celebrating now the 100th anniversary of what is considered the State Fair Classic, in which, of course, for the HBCUs, for college football in general, this man has had a hand in creating and making it special. Mr. Alwash, welcome.
Thank you.
When people say your name or identify you, what do you feel comes to people's mind when your name is mentioned? Is it only the State Fair, or how much other things have you had your hands in?
Well, it depends on what part of the country you in. I mean, everybody around here know me of living in Dallas, but I do more entertainment and more shows in other parts of the country than I do in Dallas today. Used to be, we had a grip on Dallas for forever. Dallas was the city for us. Yeah. When I say us, me and my staff, we just couldn't nothing move. Somebody tried to do something in Dallas, we try to do it better, but of course, the State Fair is our signature event, and I've been doing that for 50 years.
Wow.
So, it's like, but I've done classic football games all over the country. And there's not too many major stadiums in the country that I haven't played in, like Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, and Soldier Field, Independence Stadium in Shreveport, the Astrodome in Houston. So it's like, I was dealing with Grambling.
Yes.
And Eddie Robinson was a legend in himself. And he knew that Grambling could only play 3 games a year at home and try to make money. There's nothing to do in Grambling. So his motto was, have team, will travel. And that's where he came and got me, and he said, let's go. And we played classic games all over the country.
What exactly was your role in the setup as far as the 50 years, and what did it start as, and what did it build to, as far as how we see it now today?
Well, it's different from where we were 50 years ago. And not only did we start with a legend like Eddie Robinson, but there was a white company called Pace Management out of Houston that was marketing the Space City Classic in Houston with Texas Southern and Prairie View, the Bayou Classic in New Orleans, it wasn't State Fair Classic, but it was Grambling and Prairie View in Dallas. And the Grambling and Prairie View wanted out of the contract. So they sued the company to get out of the contract. And they won the lawsuit. So the settlement was to promote 5 games to settle this lawsuit. And so they hired me to come in and promote the Dallas game. And I took it from, they were doing about 15, 16,000 people at that time. First year, we took it over 20,000 people. And that was like 20,000 people, and that was a big thing.
Amazing.
So, and we just kept growing. And the thing is, people didn't understand across the country how you can play Prairie View, which had the longest losing streak in college football. They lost for 8 years. They didn't win a game.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know.
8 years straight. They lost, games back after back after back after back. And like, when we saw that, we said, we got to take a different approach. We're not promoting a football game. We're promoting the event.
Yes.
And that's what we did. We made it an event. And we just started doing things that you hear a commercial. That was the last thing you hear about a football game. We talked about halftime, the Black Foxes, the band, we talked about everything. We talked about the coach, Eddie Robinson. We talked about everything but a football game. And at the end of the commercial, come see, the football game now. And that's what we did. We built it as an event. So that's how we made it what it is today.
You saw it yourself that it was more than a game. Like, as you were looking at it, that this could be more than a game. The game will be played, but like you said, more eventful. At what point did the Battle of the Bands, as far as the bands having a focus on that, mind you, I'm 42 myself, and from my history of the State Fair Classic was always the band, the halftime show, that event right there. At what point did that become such a detrimental part of, the entertainment of it?
From day one. There was always the band. There was always the majorettes. Every university had some form of dancers. Prairie View was the Black Foxes. Grambling was the Arkeeses. Alcorn had a name, Southern, and all of them picked pretty women, Men love women, and they were entertaining. They did all the moves, all the music that you was hearing today. They played all the music. The bands danced out on the field, and that was part of the show. They felt like they were drawing more people in the football team, which they were in some cases.
Definitely. It is the 100th year of the State Fair Classic. That means it's got through a lot of trying times in America. Football is something that brings the country together, but we did have, some rough times in the 50s and the 60s, dealing with segregation and things of that nature. I know you weren't a part of it at that time, but for just knowing it, as far as just, knowing how football was in Black HBCUs, can you speak on that time frame as far as when a racial divide was at its highest?
Well, yeah, what happened is that it started back when Bear Bryant played USC, and USC had Sam Cunningham, Bam Bam, the running back, and he ran all over Bear Bryant. And Bear Bryant, he just couldn't believe it. Bear Bryant said, "I'm gonna go get me one of them." Everybody couldn't understand one of what. He didn't want to say black boys, but he said he gonna get me one of these black kids to run that ball like he just ran over them. So when they segregated and integrated to the point to where, they started letting the black kids go to the white schools, that's what hurt HBCUs. HBCUs couldn't get the quality of black kids. Eddie Robinson was beating some white schools at that time because he had the best Ernie Ladd, Buck Buchanan, Willie Lanier. I mean, they had all these incredible ball players that came out of these black high schools and went to HBCUs because they couldn't get into white schools. They were beating up on them. So that's why the recruitment, and that's what happened to HBCUs. They lost a step, because they were taking all the black athletes and they was taking them to the white schools. And, nothing wrong with it. it's just, you know, it was a better education, I guess, for them, and a different environment for some of them, you know. But I still think HBCUs is the place where a lot of us really need to be. I went to all white school all my life.
Yeah.
But if I had it to do all over again, wouldn't do it.
Wow.
Wouldn't do it.
You would go the other way.
I'd go the other way.
Definitely.
You know? I mean, because it was more of a family environment. You learn more. You know, I mean, I don't associate with none of the guys that I played ball with. Yeah. You know, but if I'd have went to the black ones, yeah, we communicate. At one college that I went to, University of Tennessee at Martin, it was only 8 black ball players on the team. They never played 3 of us at the same time. Wow. You know, and we still communicate today, the 8 of us that are still living. Wow. But, you know, but I see all these homecomings. I go to Prairie View homecoming, 50,000 people at a homecoming. Wow. 50, and the stadium only hold 17, 18,000. Right. But you got the campus just full of, and they having a good time. Yeah. Dancing, partying, barbecuing. You can go in if you don't have no food. Hey man, come over here and get you a sandwich, you know. You don't feel that way. I've never been back to homecoming where I went to school.
Yeah, and most people who become an alumni of HBCU, they will normally do the homecomings. They'll go back. You see guys 50, 60, 70 years old.
Oh, you got to go back.
Yes.
I mean, that was family.
Yeah.
You know, you ate out of the same bowl. You ate out of the same plate. You know, I mean, it was time. I went to junior college in Brenham, Texas. Everybody knew that Bluebell ice cream was from Brenham, Texas. And we used to go and get half a gallons of Bluebell, bring to the room. We didn't have no refrigerator, so we had to eat a half a gallon or throw it away.
Right.
So everybody was, you know, I mean, it was some great times. And college life is a life that you everybody had said, I wish I could do it again.
Right. How accurate, and are you a fan of Spike Lee's film School Days, and how accurate do you feel he, at that time, got the image of the HBCU?
Well, I think I see some of the things that happened in that movie. It happened on campus, you know, especially at the HBCUs, and you know, and it was a lifestyle at that time. So it truly was a lifestyle, and you know, in the football, the fraternities and the sororities, and you know, everybody. It was a great time. It was a great time.
The State Fair Classic, as far as for yourself, did you always want it to be at the State Fair? Did you ever want to take it somewhere else, maybe make it bigger? What are some of the pros of having it at the State Fair? And also, what are some of the cons of having it at the Texas State Fair?
Well, I never wanted to take the State Fair Classic out of Dallas, you know, but I've always done, like I said earlier, I've always had classic games in other stadiums, Kansas City, Detroit, Chicago, Shreveport, Houston, Texas. Classics are everywhere. I feel like every major market should have a classic game. Even secondary markets should have a classic game.
Yes. We're in Dallas to where as of now, or let's just say, you know, after in the 90s during the gang culture and things of that nature, going into the 2000s, a lot of violence would beget, you know, the classic, especially in the Dallas and the State Fair. If you don't mind, give me your take on the violence that sometimes happen. And mind you, sometimes news reports would, I remember at times, hone in on that and say, make it feel like an unsafe environment when it's really a family-friendly event. But sometimes, you know, one incident will happen and it'll become like a scare tactic.
And that one incident will last forever. You know, when you read the Texas-Oklahoma play here, and I always get the arrest reports after my game and after Texas OU. It's no comparison. You know, we had one major incident at the Dallas game, and they said it was gunshots. It was not gunshots. It was a table fell down underneath the tunnel, and it made it sound like a gunshot. And we had a constable that took his gun out and said, everybody get down. You ain't gonna tell no black people get down when they think you shoot. Man, they go. You know, if it had been Texas OU, they probably would all got down. They'd all hit the ground. But man, they started running and they ran for hours. But that was the only thing. And I heard a lady just tell me this year, that was the last time she'd been to that game. And she says, always problem. I said, what other problem did you hear about other than that problem? Well, I hadn't heard any other problem. You know, but she held that all these years to hold that against that game.
Wow.
And you know, we've never had no fights. We've never had, you know, if it is something, maybe a little somebody bump into somebody, but they not from the university.
Right.
They from the community, not even in Dallas. They might be from somewhere else, want to be bad or something, you know. But we've never had any major issues at our game. Never.
There you go. As far as bringing the celebrity element to it, at what point was that always an idea you had as far as being able to have celebrities come out?
Well, that's something that the celebrities want to come out and see it. You know, years ago we used to have Steve Harvey, you know, when he was on the radio here, he used to give away a house. Then we added a house and a car. Then we added fully furnished, you know, 3 years in a row. House with a car, fully furnished.
Who's paying for that? The city?
It was promotion.
Okay.
We had, you know, a builder, you know, wanted his name on the advertising, and he would supply us with a house, and the radio station would supply him with advertising. He's spending money to buy advertising, to sell, to build the homes. So now all he's doing is trading out a home to the radio station, and we give it away at the event. It's just all, you know, bordering and getting together and being creative.
There you go. Did you ever want to bring the real celebrity element to it? I think I just seen SeaWorld now has like where they're bringing artists out to perform where the Shamu is. Did you ever want to make like the halftime show to bring, you know, make it more like a Super Bowl to where celebrities perform and it's more catered to this halftime show?
Well, see, the Super Bowl had to do something because they don't have a band to perform like HBCU. You know, we don't have to have. If I didn't do halftime with the band, I probably would have a major problem. You know, people want to see that band. I mean, and if you ever notice a HBCU game, people are going to be walking and talking and mingling. But when the halftime show comes, they're in their seats watching the halftime. That's when you can tell really how many people you have in the stadium. But a white school, you know, I mean, they go on to the concession stand, get a beer, get them something to eat. We don't do that. You know, it's totally different, you know. So, but we do have entertainers that come. Like last year we had Rick Ross. People didn't believe because they heard him that he was going to be with Dion in Arizona that same day. And people it was on social media, he's not going to show up. They lying and this here, but I mean, these DJs just saying stuff to get us there. And when Rick Ross walked in that stadium, I could have bought him for a penny. I mean, people started hollering and screaming and I mean, so we've had, you know, named people to come out to the game. And this year we have TLC performing. We're doing a Southern Soul. We call it a party with Fat Daddy. We got the little 4-year-old girl that got the hottest social media campaign in the country.
Yeah.
And she's coming out and do the dance. I mean, people want their kids to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see some people talk negative about it. She need to be in school. She don't need to be out here twerking and doing all that stuff. Man, if I had a kid 4 years old and it can make $4,000-$5,000 to do one dance, my kid's gonna dance.
Right. You got to learn the business, learn capitalism. Yes, no.
Just hope that the parents are being able to put the money in the right direction so the kid can get an education and be able to understand what she was doing at that time. So, but it's a lot of different, things that people take it and mistreat it. But the majority of the time, you have a great time.
What was always your favorite thing about the event itself when the Classic comes around? Is it the build up to it? Is it the event itself? What was always your personal favorite thing about it?
Being able to come up with something different every year to market it. People saying, well, what are you going to do next year to beat top this year? I've had as many as 64,000 people at the game. This year, I'm expecting over 70,000 people. Now, it is the 100-year anniversary.
Yes.
But, we have a lot going on. And then what people have to realize is that it's not just Dallas. We're selling tickets in Alaska, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Des Moines, Iowa, Utah. We're selling tickets where I didn't even think black people live. So that makes a difference when you can sell, and I can see that report where they're buying the tickets from Ticketmaster. I can get my report daily and say, I'm selling tickets in LA. I sold 100 tickets in Chicago. People travel to Classic games all over the country.
What are your thoughts on the scalpers out there that
scalpers are going to be scalpers. It don't matter if you're scalping for the game or concert, any type of business you in, they're going to try to duplicate it and beat you and undercut you. I don't care if it's selling cars or doing whatever you're doing. It's somebody out there trying to beat the system. It don't matter who it is or what it is.
70,000 expected is a lot of people. That's bigger than some small cities. That's bigger than a lot of cities.
But you look at people like Texas, Oklahoma. Stadium holds 94,000 people. You can't even buy a ticket. The public can't. You can't buy a ticket to Texas, Oklahoma game. And if you do, if you happen to get one, it's going to be because someone is a booster that went to school there, and every ticket is $150. I don't care what 94,000 people times $150. We sell our tickets for $40, and a lot of people say, man, that's too much. They were last year, I got that same ticket for $30. That's last year. We were just talking earlier today. Everything's gone higher. The catering, the air travel, hotels, bus transportation. You got to feed them kids 3 meals a day when you take them off campus. You can't put them in no motel. They're in 5-star hotel. You got to treat them like they are celebrities. They know the difference.
Exactly. With that many people, how many people you think could either, let's just say, how many men you feel like maybe could find a wife there or lose a wife?
Now, that one I can't answer. But I imagine it's a lot. They can find and lose a wife and a husband too.
I'm telling you.
You see some of them looking at a woman, the women get mad. Ooh, what you looking at her for, But but that's part of life.
That's the element.
Yeah.
It does have an element, like it is a star-studded element for us to, put on our best of best, to go shopping, to where, like you said, it's an event. We treat it as a concert. To have that rock star feel of it, to where the anticipation really starts the moment the moment the game ends. They're already prepping for the next year of like, oh, I can't wait to go back. How does that feel to be able to have that type of excitement to bring that type of excitement to an event?
Well, I mean, that's part of being a promoter, is being able to, like I said, figure out how you going to make next year better than this past year. What are you going to do different? You know, what is your next interview? How you going to make this next interview better than what we're doing today? You got to figure that out, you know. And that's something that a good thing about it. I got a whole year to figure it out.
Yeah, does the clock start right the next day or?
Oh, yeah, it starts, you know. I'm already, you know, you'll learn some things and you don't want to get off track. You know, you want to keep the course that you started this year on. And you just can't keep changing because somebody come to you with a different idea. And I mean, I get ideas every day. And I just said, okay, I put that away for next year. Okay. And you have to know when to use those ideas.
How far were you planning ahead with some of these events? Would you only go 1 year ahead, or would you go 2-3 years? Like, this is how I want, or do you just take it year by year?
Well, this particular event is an annual event. So I take it year by year for this event. Now, there are events that I do that I know that I can't get certain artists to participate in this particular year, but I can say, okay, since you're not available this year, like, for example, Gladys Knight, I had her on a show, and it was a Mother's Day show. And I do Mother's Day every year, and I do anywhere from 9 to 12 shows in 3 days. And I know I wanted Gladys Knight. And she said, I can't do it this year. And I just stayed on it, you know. I said, well, if you can't do it this year, can you do it next year? Well, we'll take a look at it. Can you do it the next year? Until I got her. And when I got her on that show, the most unique thing, she got a standing ovation by just walking out on the stage. And it was in my Mother's Day show, it's a lot of gospel artists, but I don't call it a gospel Mother's Day show. I call it a Mother's Day celebration. And we have secular. I've had Gladys Knight, I've had Patti LaBelle, Stephanie Mills, Jonathan Butler, you know, Kelly Price. You know, this year I have Eddie Levert.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I have Howard Hewitt this year. So I have people. All these people have seen these people in other environments, and some of them are so embedded into the church, but they remember going to see the OJs back in the day. So now I got Eddie that's going to come in there and sing Stairways to Heaven.
Come on.
I mean, he going to turn it out.
Come on.
Come on. Know? It used to be my girl.
I mean, I'm telling you. And I want to take it there now as far as, if you don't mind speaking on, you have your hands in so much. You know, I just learned that you're one of the originators of the Universal Soul Circus. And let's just stay right there for a moment. As far as even that in itself, I remember going to Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey for so many years at the old Reunion Arena. And that was like the only circus type event that we would ever have just in this area, in this Metroplex. And then the Universal Soul Circus came, and it just kind of started as a small thing, and it just built to something to where even that started kind of dwarfing, the Ringling Brothers kind of started becoming to the back burner of people wanting to go to the Universal Soul Circus because it seemed like it was strictly for us to have fun with. How was that even birthed, and how did that even come about? Well,
there was a gentleman by the name of Ricky Walker, and Ricky started the Fresh Fest back in the day. You know, the rappers, and we were doing a play together. And he told me and one of the other partners, said, man, I want to do a circus, black circus. He said, what? A black circus. That's what I want to do. And we said, okay, Rick, you know, he said, so I want y'all, I still want to be involved in this here play. And we said, okay, well, we'll do it. And you still a partner with us. And he convinced us all to be financially involved in this event. And we did. And when he came to us one day, on the first day out, we played at Atlanta. And the first week out, he said, well, fellas, we all knew we were going to lose money. on the first time out. And he said, we're going to lose money, but if I add another week, we won't lose as much money. So we just said, that's a no-brainer there. What you asking us? Add another week. We lost 3 times the amount of money that we were going to lose in that 1 week. But he convinced us, and we all just, went along with it. And I stayed in there for a while with it, and I just said, Ricky, I won't feed no more elephants and tigers. And
Okay. Right.
I said, this is not for me. But I'm still involved when it comes to Texas. Yes. So when it comes to Dallas, it comes through me.
I'm just curious, what was the worst accident that ever happened while, at the Universal Circus from what you remember?
Well, things would happen, like somebody fall off a trapeze, you miss a flip or something and you hurt yourself. But it was never nothing, death-taking, But, that's in anything,
Risk of any
playing a
business.
football game. You can see people walking on stage and trip, and fall on the stage, an entertainer singing. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have accidents. That's what insurance policies are for.
There you go. Risky business. Also, you mentioned that you had help in the start of Tyler Perry's career as far as him doing the plays. What was your role in that as far as just curating with Tyler Perry?
Well, there was a guy there named Arthur Primus that someone told him about Tyler Perry, and he went and did a show, and he came to me, and he said, Al, I got this idea and this artist, we can do this play. And I had 2 plays out. I had my football games. I was doing gospel. I had Kirk Franklin. I was doing other things. I just said, look, man, I'm busy. You just go ahead on and do the play. Whatever you need from the office, the staff, we'll work with you, And so we started working with him, and he pretty much built it, and we was involved with him, and we stayed on top of it for a couple of years, and it just, just blew up, Steve Harvey, the same thing. Steve was performing in a club here in Dallas, and I convinced him, Steve, you're drawing these people in this club. Let's see if we can go to a theater and play a theater. And we did. We went and played a theater, and we did 5 sellout shows at the Dallas Convention Center. We thought we were doing something special. We said, okay, Steve, we're going to put you down in the basement, and the stage will lower the stage down, and we'll lift the stage up, and we'll put a fog machine out there. But look like you walked out of the fog. We didn't know how to cut the fog machine off.
Oh, no.
It smoked up. You couldn't even see first 5 rows of the people in the venue because we had so much fog, we just couldn't get it off, So
great idea on paper. Great idea on paper.
So we've seen some of the biggest and had our hands in some of the biggest shows out here. Prince, Luther Van. We did the Purple Rain. When Purple Rain was hidden, we did all the after party. Prince will come to the after party. He'll play long at the after party than he would on stage at the show.
Oh, man. So
we had after party. We bought a van. We traveled behind the show. I mean, we were just doing things that, we just built. We experimented, and we did well with it.
How does it feel to see when you see the success level of Steve Harvey, of a Tyler Perry, to know that, you were instrumental in building to their success, where you see what, like Tyler Perry in his movie studio now, Steve Harvey with, all the shows he's hosting, everything he's running. How does it feel to be a part of, one story to go on and for them to be great as they are?
Well, it feels good. The thing, though, that really hurts is when you see the success that they have marketed to and started, and then they turn and they go to a white promoter. Not all of them, but a lot of them go to a white promoter, and sometimes they think the white promoter ice is colder than the black man ice. And, and that kind that kind of bothers me. But since I've aged and where I'm at today, it don't even faze me anymore. You know, I have a country and western act that I'm dealing with now. And he's on American Got Idol. I mean, America have Got Talent.
Yes, America Got Talent.
And his name's Steve Ray Latzer.
Oh, wow.
And he's in the finals week after next. So he's in the final. And he's country and western. He's bad.
Amazing.
He's bad.
Amazing.
So when y'all see that guy, it's going to be incredible.
Okay.
And he's country and western, but he can sing and play anything.
Oh, man.
You know, he don't want to do Southern soul. You know, I mean, his cousin is a big Southern soul artist. But this guy here, he's gonna be incredible.
Man, we rooted for him. When you speak on the black acts moving on to utilize white promoters, at least do you understand the mentality behind that, or what's your thoughts on that mentality as far as a lot of black people in a lot of different business and entertainment move on to, you know, they might start with even a black manager, things of that nature, to move on to say, hey, I want to be represented by maybe a Jewish man or just another Caucasian.
Well, I don't think it's so much is that they plan it, that they want to be managed by white or Jewish manager or stuff. I think they're looking for something different. But then once they discover and go over there, they find out the grass is not as green as it is over here. You know, the opportunities might be a little bit different and might be a little bit better, you know, but the opportunity is going to come regardless of where you are. You know, if you're good, you know, it's like being an athlete. You know, who would have thought Deion Sanders' son would go from Jackson State to Colorado to the NFL, you know, and do what he's doing, you know, and some of these other kids, you know. If you got talent, you got talent.
Yeah.
You can't teach talent. You can't coach talent. You know, talent, that's what it is. It's talent. If you have it, you got it. It's an it factor. And you know what that it is when you hit it.
Exactly. If you don't mind, I got to get your take on, I believe it was, I think it was Ann Richards who was trying to, of course, get, was not approving for the Texas Stadium before they built Jerry's World out there, AT&T. They were trying to get it to the State Fair. They were going to use South Dallas as a location to build the new Cowboy Stadium. What were you in that? I mean, what was your thoughts on that decision to move from the Texas Stadium to go to the State Fair and tear the Cotton Bowl down and put the new Cowboy Stadium there?
I didn't think that was a good idea. You don't tear down history to build something that another man is going to own totally, you know. So, but at one time before they talked about tearing down the Cotton Bowl, they were talking about putting it where the Sportatorium was, and right there in that industrial area. And I thought that would have been a good thing because it's supposed to be a riverfront down in that area, and it would have been good to be that close to the black community, right there on the Trinity crossing, you know, into South Oak Cliff, into South Dallas. It would have meant more money for all of us in the community. So I didn't, and I've seen so many things like even Reunion Arena when they happen, and then they come in with American Airlines Arena. Bad idea. You know, they ain't even, from my understanding, they hadn't even paid for the construction of Reunion Arena, and they tore it down. You know, that was a bad deal. Some of the people that are in position, city council people, and they're not the venue people. They don't understand. You know, they think they do, and they have people to go do this research, but these people are getting paid to say what they want to hear. You know, I mean, somebody's out there paying them. You know, we should have took that Reunion Arena, downsized it to about 7,000 seats, put suites in there, and would have been able to get the business that they get out in Grand Prairie and all these other venues that they building in the suburbs, we'd have had a 7,000-seater in the city of Dallas, which we don't have other than the convention center. And it's so outdated. You know, they're supposed to be renovating it now, but look how long it took for them to renovate it. The Cotton Bowl, it's outdated, but they just spent millions and millions of dollars, you know, to renovate it.
What are your thoughts on the gentrification of that area, of the South Dallas area? Is it needed? Do you feel like the city has to step in and start kind of changing the area to clean it up a little bit for the venue like the State Fair Classic?
Well, anytime something like that has been there for so long and they hadn't put any money into it because it's in the Black community. I'm not saying they didn't put money into it because it was solely in the Black community, but they just never invested anything in there. Yeah. So it you know, naturally, if you go start putting money in it, it's going to bring back a return. You know, who spend more money on entertainment, on food, on clothes, cars than Black people?
We spend it frivolously.
You know, so it would have came back, but nobody educated our city council people and our mayors, and maybe they did educate them and said, let's take it somewhere else. You know, I don't know. Yeah. But I see it happen all the time.
Very true. You've had your hands in so much. Are there any other notable either artists that you've dealt with or events that you put together? Again, I know I'm only scratching the surface of how much you've done over the past half century. But I want to highlight some other either artists you've worked with or events you've put together. And just for you, as we're speaking, what are some notable ones that for you mean something?
Well, you know, some of the ones that we talked about, some of the artists that we talked about, Kirk Franklin. You know, when we had Kirk Franklin out there, we didn't know what we were going to call the tour. And we just sat around, we said, the tour of life, you know. And we did 5 shows a week. We did like, we did like 17 weeks, you know, of touring, came back and did 15 more weeks, 5 shows a week. Mary J. Blige, the Mary Tour, that was me, you know. And everybody told me, Al, she's not going to listen. She's out there, she drinking, you know, they partying, they do dumb stuff. And when I got involved, I flew to New York. I met with the lawyers, the manager, and her, and we sat at the table, and I put some stipulations down and said, this is what you got to do. If I'm going to get involved, you got to be at the venue, you know, hour and a half or so before the show. You can't miss no shows, no drinking, you know. If we on a bus, all the buses have to move together, you know. And we got her a trainer. She was exercising. I feel sorry for her. I look down in the hotel. She'd be out there exercising. Man, I feel sorry for her.
It's the cost.
You know, but she did it. And she never missed the show. Wow. And we did more shows than she's ever done at one time. Wow. So, you know, when we do things like that, the kings of comedy, you know, everybody told me, the agencies said that Bernie Mac agency, they told me, it's not going to work in an arena. You know, comedy's supposed to be in a small venue. And I wanted to do it the night before the Grambling PV game at the Star Place, which was 19,000 seat. You know, they fought me hand and feet. I finally got Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, who was it?
D.L. Hewley,
D.L.
Cedric the Entertainer?
No. It was Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac,
what's that involved?
J. Anthony Brown.
Oh, yeah, J. Anthony.
And what's the other boy name? It wasn't D.L. Hewley. He wasn't even in the picture. Cedric, I don't think he was on that show. But we did 18,000 people at that show. And then that's when Walter Latham, it took me so much time and effort to put it together. I said, I don't want to mess with this no more. And I walked away from it. And Walter Latham came and picked it up and made it, and took it across country, made a movie and all of that. But there's things, Millie Jackson. I did a show with Millie Jackson, and people said, Millie Jackson? 2 other promoters had the show. It was called Young Man, Older Woman. And it was a play. And she had a record out called Young Man, Older Woman. So she just wanted to do the play to sell the record. The play hit, and we did better numbers than any play that was out on the road. We went to New York. I never forget it. We did 16 days in a row of $100,000 worth of ticket sale, 16 days in a row. And we went to New York hoping we could do 2 weeks. We had 1 week, had on sale. Another week we were hoping we can do. We ended up doing 5-6 weeks. And at that time, we still was selling $25,000 worth of tickets a day. But I said, Millie, if we stay here 7 days a week times 25,000, that's $175,000. We're going to lose money at that number. I said, it's time for us to get out of New York. She said, I'm ready to go when you're ready. we packed them up and left New York.
Right.
But we did well in New York. But
did you ever deal with Casey JoJo?
I played them, but I never dealt with them on the level of being consistent. They might have been on a show, played a night, but it was always nightmare stories about the drinking and that type of thing, So I just never dealt with them.
Juanita Bynum. Can we speak on Juanita Bynum?
What you know about Juanita Bynum?
I only know that I believe, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, she was arrested after a situation.
Yeah.
And that's my knowledge.
And I still have people ask me, how can you have somebody arrested for something like what she did? Juanita Bynum had a sermon out called Between the Sheets or Beneath the Sheets or something. And we wanted to make it out of a play. We gave her, I think me and a partner of mine, we gave her $150,000. She convinced us to say, well, I can't stop what I'm doing because I lose money. So we said, okay, we're going to give you money to stop what you're doing. We gave her $150,000 to stop what she was doing. And then when we hit the road or get ready to get on the road, we give you additional $150,000. And we agreed to pay her X amount of dollars a show. She just came out one day and said, I'm not going to do this show. I said, well, Miss Bynum, just give me my money back. I spent it. I said, excuse me? She said, I spent it. And I said, well, Miss Bynum, you got to pay the money back. She said, well, I'll pay you back. But, if you try to sue me, I go to court and tell them I don't have any money and I pay you $100 a month. I said, Miss Bynum, that's not right. And we gave the money to the lady that was representing her. She claimed the lady didn't give her all the money. I said, you told us that's who represented. We got a contract. Now, she was representing you. I don't know where the money went to. So we end up, I told her, I said, we're going to get our money now. And she came to Dallas for a church. And we had her arrested. They picked her up at the church and took her to jail. And when they called me, my lawyers called me and said, look, you need to get down here. And the next day, and she come out shackled with the shade, with the little slides, the little orange jumpsuit on. And I said, oh my goodness. And my partner was telling me, and let us stay in jail. You know how much money she owe us and we need our money. And the judge said, look, I see y'all both have high power lawyers. Can we get this thing sold? And I think she's going to pay, you know, she never paid me today.
Oh, wow.
I still got a judgment on her.
Yeah, restitution is still there, but
yeah,
nothing.
Yeah. So she's never been the same Juanita Bynum since.
Yeah, that kind of karma. Looking back, would you have done it the same way again and make sure you arrest her again? Just
probably would have. Because she just got smart with us, you know?
Yeah. And
telling us what she was gonna do. She was making a lot of money. She just thought she could get away with anything. You know?
Do you get that a lot from celebrities that kind of belittle the promoters or just making you feel like small town? Did you get that early on, or did your name kind of go above that as far as when they know they're dealing with you, you're at another level of?
Well, we've gotten it, and sometimes you have to, you have to do certain things and keep it in on business level and just let the courts make the decision. You know, we had another one, guy that we sued. No, he sued us. And I was named in the lawsuit. It was Michael Baisden. And the other guys had the show. They came to me. I promoted the show. Show was successful. He claimed that they didn't have the rights to sell his books and other things that they were doing. And he told me himself, he said, Al, the only reason I sued you is because my lawyer told me you was the promoter. I had to bring you in the lawsuit, and we went to federal court and stayed in court for a week. And the other guys, they did offer him right at about $1 million to settle it before he went to court. And he said he wanted $11 million, And at the end of the court, we won. He lost. He could have walked away with $1 million, but he wanted $11 million, and that was the end of that one.
That was the end of that one. You have a storied career, and we could be here all day for hours, but I do want to, of course, close out with once again your the artist that is going to be in America's Got Talent, and any other artists that you have your eye on that's coming up that you don't mind speaking their names, as far as that you see the America should be on the lookout for.
Well, I mean, Steve Ray Lasser's one, and Dietrich Haddon. That's another one that I managed today. And Dietrich, he's a little something different, very talented. And the most unique thing about Dietrich, he's talented and he can sing. He can perform like a Michael Jackson's, he can sing like anybody that you want to hear. And he's so talented. He wake up every morning and call me. I got an idea. Dietrich, it's 5:00 in the morning here.
That's how creators create.
Yeah. Can it wait till later on today? But all his ideas, they expensive ideas, and they think because I done some of everything that I just have money to just throw out there and make something work. I'm only as good as the person I'm working with. If people don't want to see them, or that idea don't want to be seen at that time, it's just like Millie Jackson. 3 other promoters had her, and even I played a show on her, and it didn't work in Dallas. And what happened is when she called me, she said, before I take this show down and tear up this set, are you going to ever try to promote me again? I said, Millie, I'm going to try one more time. Let's go to Detroit. My brother used to say he lived in Detroit. It seemed like anytime you want some money, you come to Detroit. And we went to Detroit, and I took her in about 10 weeks before the show. And we did a radio show on a Saturday, and they gave us the whole shift to be a guest DJ. She was a guest DJ with another DJ at the radio station. and the show just took off like a rocket. We don't know what we did. We didn't do anything no different other than start it earlier to get it out there. And every city it was hitting. We just hit in almost every. Almost. We hit in every market we played. Wow. With young man, older woman.
Wow.
So it's definitely been a road. It's been an up and down, and I have a lot of young guys say, "Can you teach me? Can you mentor? Can you do this here?" And what I need to do, first thing I tell them, it's not like it was when I started. It's different. Everything costs more. Everything's more expensive, and people don't have this kind of money to experiment no more.
Yeah.
Used to be able to go out there and experiment with a show, $15,000, $20,000. Not no more.
No. That'll barely get the doors open.
It won't get no doors open.
Won't get no doors
when we start a conversation.
When we start the conversation. Have you ever decided, or have you ever thought about writing maybe a book, a story of a life biography or a how-to, financial, have you thought of putting your knowledge down on paper?
Well, my knowledge is something that I've learned over this period of time. And over the years, I've seen so many changes. It's not the same. What I put down on paper and how I started, I can't do that in today's time and make it work today. It just can't be done.
Wow.
It's the radio is not what it used to be. TV is not what it used to be. Things are social media now, so it's like, and I'm still old school. I still believe, I still market with radio. I still market with TV, social media. I still do street teams. I do everything it takes and everything I've done over the years to make things happen and work. And I'm not going to stop it.
Yeah. Times are changing though, so I totally understand. What do you still find joy in? Like, which areas do you really still find the joy in this?
Making money.
That's the most joyous thing. Going to the bank.
Whatever makes money and pay the bill, that's what I find enjoyable. I don't do a lot of things. I don't like flying no more. I got claustrophobia where I don't have a problem with flying. I got a problem with going to the airport and they put you out on that runway and they set you there for an hour and a half. And I start sweating and I just want to get off the plane. So I pretty much, I got a driver and they drive me across country now.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Again, with that being said, we're just scratching the surface, but this is a beautiful, beautiful introduction to the world, to our channel's world, for people to know your story. And again, I thank you and I appreciate you coming down and sitting down and having this conversation. So with that being said, Big Al, Mr. Al Wash, if people want to follow you, are you on social media or there's anywhere to follow?
Well, my son say I am. but we got ALW Entertainment, yes. So you can go there and find me. And like my son, I used to tell my son, he was still in college, I said, son, I need a bio. He said, Dad, you don't need no bio. They just tell him to Google Al Wash.
There you go.
And he'll find out everything. He said, everything is on social media. Everybody tell everything about you.
Hey, there you go.
So I just said, okay, that's what it is. And I'm not looking to try anything any different. The country and western, I've never been in that genre before.
It seems like we are coming into that genre more prevalent now than ever.
Oh yeah.
From the Big X's, the Beyoncés, the K Michelles, we are kind of entering this space, and it seems like we're welcome. Seems like we are being welcomed. So I'm excited for what's about to happen next with you in that genre and the ALW Entertainment as well. With that being said, hopefully people follow your mission. I can't wait to sit back down with you again and get some more stories out of you. But with that being said, Mr. Al Wash, we appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Stars, nigga. Millie. Hey.